This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
The recording has started. Oh, I'm the one that does the introductions. Hey, kids! Hello and welcome to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the man with wisdom beyond his age.
Phil, me, and Perich asking the burning questions like, isn't it too early to be drunk yet?
It's never too early.
I knew you were going to say that.
And no. Well, the thing is, it's not early. It's just,
10 a.m.
Well, yeah, but it's still after 9 p.m.
Oh, but I was going to say, but we did just talk to Ray from Australia, where it's like, I believe it's after 11 p.m. there, so.
Exactly. So, I have to keep up.
Yeah, because he did say he had wine, or he had wine or something, because he was like, yeah, I'm drinking, because when we got on, he's like, yeah, I'm drinking. He's like, but it's like, it was like 10 or 11 o'clock there in the evening there, so.
Yeah, officially it's coffee, so there we go. Moving right along. Hey, Philip. Let me think. Let's talk. Let's see. Hey, have you listened to the new Wolverine podcast on Stitcher?
Season 2, yes, I have.
Yeah, season 2. I really like it. I mean, honestly, it's like, I'm not sure about the radio play genre in the age of podcasts. I will be honest with you. I do wonder if that is working in the grand scheme of things. I think there's a part of me that just thinks that maybe it's not quite what they think it is, but I am enjoying the story. I'll start with that.
I mean, do you think, I don't know if it's going to draw on anyone else, but do you think comic book fans are going to, I don't know, say flock to this, but be interested in this, especially if you're in the car, you can't be reading the comic book in the car, driving.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if comic book fans are the target audience.
Yeah.
In the same way that I don't think necessarily Incredible Hulk fans were the comic book fans were the target audience of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And I kind of, because they do take liberties with the story. It's definitely separate from what we know of the Wolverine story, but at the same time, it does tell its own story, and I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
It does touch on classic Wolverine aspects of his story, which is good. The most interesting thing I found in this was, unless I heard it wrong, they're kind of revealing that the agent is a Sentinel.
It seems like, there's some, that might be the case. Yeah, it seems like something.
Which is interesting because, it's suggesting rather than a big purple giant robot, which never seemed like that good of a plan in the first place. I guess they wanted it to rip roofs off things, so you could do that looking down from the roof, They wanted giants. I don't think giant things necessarily are a good strategic model.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the way they're going, but I know in the 80s they had a smaller version. I can't remember if it was even from the future, because there's X-Men stuff, but they had the Nimrod Sentinel, and I can't.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, the Nimrod was smaller and was a shapeshifter too.
Yeah.
So the idea that you have that smaller, so maybe this is actually Nimrod, and we're just not being revealed that yet.
Because we are in the age of...
So that would be interesting.
We are in the age of nanotech and stuff.
Yeah, well, exactly, and so as you adapt things for different times, it works nicely. I love what they're doing with Mastermind in this.
Oh, yeah.
Mastermind, and this is the thing, Mastermind is probably, one of these really powerful mutants
who
never gets the credit he deserves. But then again, he's also kind of a low-rent villain. He's kind of like, the ringmaster in the Circus of Crime,
Yeah, well, when he first showed up, he was kind of like Magneto's lackey, and it's always like he pulls off big stuff. Like, I mean, he had the Phoenix enthralled when it thought it was Jean Grey, during Dark Phoenix, but then then she it kind of fried his mind. So
well, exactly, but he's come back since then, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, sometimes he pulls off some big stuff, but then he gets slapped around. So it's like,
well, he's basically the mutant version of Mysterio. It's like he creates these really solid illusions, but the minute you can break through the illusion, there's no guy behind it. It's this little dweeby guy who gets punched in the face.
It's funny. It's funny you said Mysterio, because I was thinking he was like the Purple Man, because he can make people do stuff they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, except that his power is illusion, not mind control.
Yeah,
which I think is an interesting aspect of it. It's like he doesn't control your mind, he just makes you think things that aren't really there.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that is very, and really not for nothing. It's kind of weird that they decided in that original Old Man Logan story to make it Mysterio who attacks Logan rather than just Mastermind, because honestly I think Mastermind would have been the more logical thing.
Yeah,
because you get the whole thing. You get the sense and the smells and the heartbeat. Everything that you think you're supposed to notice it provides for you. Yeah.
Which, I mean, neither one of them was like a big name. I mean, Mysterio's a bigger name now because of the movie, but were they like, oh, Mysterio's like a bigger name than Mastermind?
Well, yeah, and I mean, they tried to do Mastermind in what was that? X-Men? Was that X-Men 2? Where they had Mastermind? When they did the God Loves Man Kills story, and they had it wasn't actually Mastermind, but it was essentially Mastermind.
Yeah, that was Xavier. Yeah. They did that. Yeah. Trying to convince Xavier to do. Yeah.
I do not know why they had to change the God Loves Man Kills storyline. It's like it was perfect the way it was. I don't know. I don't think that it needed. I don't think you needed to tie in a Wolverine origin story to it.
No, yeah, I know. It's all that those Fox movies. I mean, X3 was supposed to be their first attempt at Dark Phoenix, and that was horrible.
Yeah, well, and again, like as we always say, when you try to cram too much into a movie,
exactly,
it stops feeling organic. Mm-hmm. That is the thing of it. It's like if you try to do too much in one film, it's going to cause you problems.
I think that's the lesson the MCU is trying to teach everyone. It's like, take your time. If it takes you 22, 23 movies, take it.
Yeah, and to that extent, I do think that Stitcher is doing a good job with introducing only a few characters at a time, and I like that. And okay, we're going to New Orleans. I guess we have to meet Gambit. See, I'm not Little Hellfire. I'm not a Gambit fan,
Yeah, but I guess it's like a way to bring in another Marvel character and even like another X-Men character, but not drop them in the middle of New York or something,
But you could have done Rogue, you could have done Mystique, you could have done Destiny, because they're all down south people,
Mm-hmm.
At least at that point in history, I would have loved to have seen Rogue in this. I would have loved to see Mystique, and I kind of get the feeling we might see Mystique before the end of this, because I kind of think they're doing a Freedom Force kind of government-mandated mutant superhero group.
Maybe, yeah.
That's my feeling here. I think from the way that they've discussed it and the way that Mastermind has been presented in this, I kind of get the feeling they're trying to do something, and they've got their little, city of mutants where mutants and humans can live peacefully, because that always works. Yeah,
because mutants are getting kidnapped too, so I wonder if they're trying to put a force together of mutants against their will, so we might get more mutants showing up.
And you want mutants to do things against the will, better to have in your team than Mastermind.
Yes,
exactly. That's the crux of the biscuit. So yeah, I am enjoying that. I really do think that's a good storyline that they're pursuing with it. The side characters are interesting. We've got the young kid there, who I don't think is yet revealed as a mutant, but I gotta think he's gonna be a mutant by the end of it.
Yeah.
It just seems like having the tag. And first off, I guess Wolverine's always more fun when he has a sidekick.
Yeah, I guess.
Because he's Batman who doesn't want a Robin, but Robin just keeps on showing up.
But I guess, too, it's like, is Wolverine really the most, sharing character, the most talkative character? So you at least need someone there to, because otherwise he probably wouldn't be speaking that much, if at all.
Yeah, but again, it's like, if you're not going to, here's my thing, if you're going to give Wolverine a sidekick, give him Jubilee. I've always felt the Wolverine-Jubilee dynamic is really top. Yeah,
it's very good, but I wonder, too, if they gave him this kid just because, if you, this way Logan has knowledge of the area and, some of the locals and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there are reasons for him, but, it just, it's always, because I think, did he have a sidekick in the last one? I guess not.
Well,
really.
No, remember, it was almost through the agent's eyes and, you'd see on the fringes and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't. Well, actually, yeah, and he had apparently people that he worked with and allies and that,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and this time we're getting it more from Wolverine's side, so that is a different switch of perspectives. Where the first time, it's our Mulder Scully investigating, which again shows you that this is meant to bring in people well beyond the comics group.
Yeah.
This is a series meant to be for people who maybe don't read comics, maybe only know that the X-Men was a movie series, and this is their key character, and then they're going to develop it in here, which I think is a good strategy.
Well, I mean, and to your point too, I wonder if that's why they aren't dropping a lot of, different X-Men characters or Marvel characters in here. They don't want to bombard new people with a ton of names, oh, you should know this name and this name and this name. It's
yeah.
Because I mean, the only other person we really know is Gambit, and he's only been in this for a couple minutes in the one episode or so far, right?
Yeah. No, and he's basically meant to be our first big introduction.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Mastermind is, like I said, to me, Mastermind's the bigger get.
Mm-hmm.
Just, for me as a comic book fan, it's I guess to me, Gambit's always just so cliched.
Yeah.
He's he's the New Orleans, lover boy thief. He's Pepe Le Pew with, who steals stuff is basically. I
mean, it depends who writes him, but too, I always think he's done a lot better, especially with a good writer. But when he has a solo book or a solo mission rather than in that group dynamic.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely he's definitely a loner, and he doesn't. And that's a difference I would say between him and Wolverine, and maybe that's a dynamic they're going to explore. Is that Wolverine is a loner, but Wolverine is also a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Wolverine can work with people, and maybe even prefers to work with people when he doesn't feel like he's burdened with taking care of people. Although he actively accepts the burden of taking care of people too, because Wolverine, for all of his killing, is a hero.
Yeah.
He's, again, as we were saying in the last episode, or the last in our epic 2-hour Capes of Lunatics. Lil, thanks you for giving her that to edit.
I edit that. Don't worry, I don't get that.
Okay. You're not gonna put that on World Lilith. Good.
No.
She's sick and she's in San Diego, and
sick, alcohol poisoning, I'm sure.
Well, it is a poison.
Then how are you not?
I know. Hey, here's what I've said. That alcohol is something that you have to respect.
What doesn't kill you makes it stronger.
No. But it's a poison. It's a poison that makes you feel good, but most poisons make you feel good just before you die. And you have to respect that it is still a poison. When you imbibe, you have to respect what this thing is going to do to you, what this thing is going to have effects on you, yada 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 down through the line. Anyway, but moving right along.
Do you want to switch? Do you want to switch topics?
Sure. Do you have a topic you want to discuss?
Well, I was looking at your list. We got the announcement because it is Comic-Con weekend. Next season, season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will last.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. First off, the last time that everyone thought it was going to be the last Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they really did great.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's kind of like Futurama, where they did this great big ending, and then they said, oh, that was so good, come back and do some more. So I do think, but I think at this point, they're like always like, yeah, you know what, we've got it. I think they felt that 7 was their last one. Because never nothing, 7 seasons for any show, that is a good run.
And I think you might have brought it.
That is a good run.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all those. A lot of those Star Trek series went 7. I mean, Next Generation, all those. But I mean, I also wonder too. I think you brought it up. It's like I wonder if a bunch of these people are going to show up in other forms, either in movies or stuff on the.
Yeah, of course they are. I mean, I guarantee you. In season 7, Mockingbird's going to come back. I guarantee you that after season 7, when we get to Captain Bucky, I think May because they've already said that. Natasha won't show it because she's dead. That's right, forgot about that. But that I guarantee you when you get to Captain Bucky, that May might show up.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Sarge / Coulson might show up,
In that Disney Plus stuff, I mean,
Fitz and Simmons will definitely show up.
Yeah, you can make Melinda May like your new Natasha in that Disney Plus stuff.
Mm-hmm. And dang Skippy, you could. Mm-hmm. And actually, I'm going to say this right now. You say who's going to be the next Iron Man? I think Fitz and Simmons are already Iron Man.
Yeah.
We already have tech support.
Oh, we need like a brain trust Illuminati with Fitz and Simmons, Shuri, get some Peter Parker in there maybe. I mean,
yeah, he's not a joiner, but yeah, I mean, I would love to see that.
Well, get like some of the brains in there, or.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, definitely Peter Parker is definitely a big brain.
Yeah.
By the way, that was my favorite part of
Far From Home.
Far From Home was that Peter finally gets to make his own costume.
Yes, that's what I said. That's what I've been waiting for.
Well, yeah, because honestly, it was such a cheap thing to have Stark make his costume.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what I said. I wouldn't mind if they gave, if Tony Stark gave him access to materials but Peter just made it himself. But yeah, that's that's my big thing about this whole Spider-Man stuff is just, I love the stories where he makes all his own stuff because it shows his intelligence.
Yeah, and his skill with needlework, Can you imagine the amount of embroidery that goes into a single Spider-Man costume?
Oh, all those webs and stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Spider-Man clearly loves to sew. That is like his... No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the man really loves costuming. Peter Parker definitely would be a cosplayer. These guys who are spending an hour making all these things, Yeah, I could totally see him. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him sewing because I think that's a part of the character. I always felt that was one of the aspects that kind of binds him. One of the reasons he's so close to Aunt May, is that Aunt May taught him how to sew, and that was probably something that him as the skinny little kid that this was a thing they shared together.
Well, I was gonna say, I wonder if the movie people are just sewing seems like such an old skill or whatever. It's just oh, he's a hip young kid. He'll 3D print everything,
Well, I don't mind that, but I would actually love to see him doing needlepoint.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see Peter Parker in the comic books doing needlepoint as just a fun thing to do, because just to have him say, yeah, obviously I do a lot of needlepoint. Have you seen my costume? It's like, this is something I do, and I really feel that them, what it is. It's one of these things where he has that fully formed costume.
Yes.
And no one ever asks, how did this kid sew that great costume so quickly? But
I know. If Aunt May knew from day one, he could have pulled the whole Superman. My mom made this for me. It'd be like, hey, my aunt made this for me.
Well, yeah, but it was. But like I said, obviously it was something. It's one of these things you have to retcon.
Oh yeah.
It's a headcanon as a viewer. Mm-hmm. It's obviously he learned to sew. And in this age of cosplay, it's actually a very realistic thing that a young millennial,
yes,
would absolutely be into cosplay and be into sewing and be into making his own costume.
Well, he kind of made
that. They gave him the
He kind of made in the movies. He kind of made that early first costume there with the sweatshirt, almost like a Ben Riley style. So it was like,
but that was kind of it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best costume.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Were his sewing skills really on point there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they should be.
Yeah,
that's my point, Philip. Is this man should be an expert tailor? Well, I always thought it would be if you wanted to really give a weird reason why he can sew, you can just say, well, once he was bitten by the spider, he became bound to the spider totem, and so his ability to weave and to sew and to work with thread became superhuman in nature.
Yeah. Well, in the MCU, I just took it as they didn't have a lot of money, he didn't have a lot of access to materials. So once he hooks up with Stark, it's just like, are you going to use needle and thread with Stark tech now?
Well, no, obviously yes, but he could. Although this was, I thought, the most interesting thing. Aside from Edith, there was no AI in his suit.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
Yeah, but
in its own way.
But do you think maybe he didn't want that reminder of Tony Stark in his head, in his ear every 2 seconds, though?
Maybe, I don't know, but it's that was actually an interesting thing that someone pointed out, that Spider-Man in Infinity War is actually wearing 2 suits the whole time.
Oh yeah.
And I imagine that once because they actually make the point that when he is, because Tony's AI, he doesn't have access to it once they go off world, and I kind of wonder if maybe that's why he doesn't have an AI, because once they went off world, he no longer had access to the Karen AI.
No Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah, and then when he comes back, he just doesn't think to turn it back on again. And then he's got Edith, and he's working through the Edith AI.
Yeah. Well, I just wonder, too, it's I wonder if, an AI talking to him in his ear, maybe distract from the Peter tingle. Maybe that's what was wrong with it, and,
That could well be. That's a great fan theory, Philip. That the Peter tingle, which is what it officially is now, it's no longer a spider sense. It's a Peter tingle.
Because I mean, in the first one, wasn't Karen oh, hey, look out, look at, evasive maneuver. Instead, it's shh, just let me go by instinct here.
Exactly, got to use the Force.
Yes,
got to use the Force, Peter. Yeah. So, yeah, that is what I think is great about Spider-Man, is his sewing ability, and seeing him make his own costume, even though it's not sewing. It is still weaving. It is still creating this thing from scratch, and I do like that aspect of it. And I like that he went back to a spandex look rather than an Iron Spider look.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, that's more Tony Stark than Peter Parker, especially,
Mm-hmm. I wonder if we're going to get a Parker Industries at some point. Or do you think he's going to go to college first?
I don't know, because now that spoilers, now that he's outed, I didn't know if that's the way they were going to go now yet or not.
He's outed this week, and like I said, by the time the next Spider-Man movie comes out, they'll have access to Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
and so having someone jump around and move like Spider-Man. Oh, the Black Widow film comes first, and we do get Taskmaster.
Oh yeah.
And then we've introduced Taskmaster, and then we just realized that Taskmaster, again, playing both sides of the coin, just comes in and yeah, kid, Fury said you needed your secret identity back, so there you
go. Charlie, you just mentioned Taskmaster. Yeah. If we do get a secret invasion, could Taskmaster be training Skrulls how to move like the heroes?
That would take away from the Skrulls. The Skrulls move
I'm saying if the Skrulls have a hidden agenda, I think we were saying, well, what if they have a hidden agenda?
Yeah, but that's not Taskmaster. That wouldn't be what. Essentially, it would, as Thanos says, this is very embarrassing for me as a shapeshifter. I was fooled by the illusions, these are people who take pride in what they do.
Yes.
As shapeshifting beings. So, I personally think that if you do have a Taskmaster in this, he is very much going to be of the he's going to be Tony Masters.
Yeah.
He's not going to be teaching Skrulls how to do things. He's going to be teaching he's going to be teaching. If anything, he's going to teach humans to act like Skrulls when they take over someone else's. When they take on a different appearance, it's like okay, so you're going to be you. You got to be you, and here's the little hitch in your giddy up when you do your movements. That's going to let the other Skrulls know you're a Skrull. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I am hoping we get Taskmaster in the new Black Widow film, which I'm sure we're going to get the announcements for this weekend at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think they said sometime today they're doing a bunch of Marvel announcements. So,
yeah, and here's an interesting idea. Assuming Black Widow, the movie, takes place in the past, you know, do you think what?
No, I was going to say, I heard a rumor maybe that it might take place between Civil War and Infinity War, maybe.
Oh, Civil War. Well, that would be the past, Philip.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like it's...
Yeah, that's how the past works. Things that are in the past are in the past.
Yeah, no, so. I'm saying it. I heard it might not be like Captain Marvel where it happened before all the previous movies. It just, take place in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying sometime in the past. Yeah, I mean, it could be It could be just before she gets the Tony Stark assignment, or just after, or wherever, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a new theory I'm working on. This might be my next blog post, so I do have another blog post I want to do, but this was one that just popped into my head. Could Thanos have actually snapped in Endgame?
Why?
Because I got this theory. The Soul Stone. The Soul Stone demands a sacrifice.
Yes. So
the Soul Stone might be there on the glove. That doesn't mean the Soul Stone's going to let itself be used.
Yeah, but isn't it just like you need a sacrifice to unlock it and take it, but once it's out in the wild, anyone can use it?
Well, that's a theory, but we don't have any evidence of that. And let me give you the reason why. Because it struck me, the sacrifice to get that Soul Stone was Natasha.
Yeah.
And Natasha is arguably just as close to Tony as anyone.
Maybe.
So the Soul Stone would come to Tony and say, "Oh yeah, you met the sacrifice." It would be very interesting to see, Thanos try to snap, but that Thanos has not sacrificed anything yet.
Yeah.
And for the Soul Stone to say, "No, you don't get to."
Or Tony Stark made a sacrifice. He sacrificed himself.
Oh, and that is certainly who he loved most of all.
I'm just saying. I mean, who's more precious to you than your own life?
Yeah, but I'm saying that from that so there's absolutely two ways you can look at it.
Yeah, is that
there is a sacrifice that Tony is making, either himself or he shares in the sacrifice of Natasha.
Maybe,
or which makes me wonder. Because it's an interesting question, because obviously the stone is moving around. But just because the stone moves around doesn't mean you get to use it. Because, as we've seen, these stones shut themselves down. The Tesseract shut itself down after World War II. Didn't get reawakened until the Kree started using it again with Ms. Marvel. But we know that it went dormant after World War II because that is in the background of it. That Howard couldn't get it to work again. Even with Zola there, it's like, and Zola probably was saying, I have no idea why it worked. It just worked, It turns on, it turns off. It's a thing. It's, so obviously the stones all have this kind of possession of themselves. And I think, this is an issue that's going to be a concern in it,
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, that's that. What else is going on in the world today? This was what I was going to say. When you're looking at this Natasha story, you could introduce other agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in that, because it is in the past. And then, after Season 7, we can start sprinkling these agents around the other series, Having Mac show up somewhere, having Mac as the director, I think is even a great idea, Just still being Mac. It's pretty awesome. Having Yo-Yo show up, having
Daisy.
I still want Jekyll. I still want Mr. Hyde back.
Yes.
Both because I love the actor and also because I think the character deserves his villain rebirth. You
could do that on Disney. You could do that on Disney Plus. You could have a Daisy Johnson, Mr. Hyde series.
Well, not even just. Great to have the series, but I also just think that these characters should be woven in.
Yeah,
and to show that connection. That's the thing. It's like every time So every time you come to Fitz and Simmons, for what it's worth, it's like when you the last Spider-Man series, and Fitz and Simmons are there, and Coulson is there, and you have these characters just weaving themselves into the story that makes you feel the connection to the greater story. And I think that's a useful thing they can do with these agents after season 7 when they're kind of free agents again.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's what I'd like to see. Oh, we went long this week. Oh, do you want to talk any more? Let's talk Loki.
Yeah, it's Loki #1 came out this week. Yeah.
Kristen, hand me my comics.
Boy?
All of them.
Boy?
Yes. Boy, get me my comics. You bring me that too, but give me the comics first. Okay. I'm going to have to... Yeah, my camera's off, so I'll have to do this as we go. Okay, yeah, by the way, my comic book guy was very nice to me this week. Gave me this for free.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he said he was sick of seeing it on his shelf. And he said, Charlie, you want this? I said, yeah, I'd love that. And he said, great, here you go. So there we go. That's what I got this week for free. Black Widow Red Vengeance by Margaret Stohl. #1 New York Times best-selling author. Margaret Stohl. That doesn't mean this was a New York Times bestseller. Just means the author has sold a lot of books in the past.
I actually did read that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to it. I might actually read a book. So that doesn't have pictures.
Because if that's the first one, there is actually.
But in the meantime,
there's a sequel to that too. So.
Oh, cool. Well, they're all good. So let's talk Loki real quick.
Yes.
I did love Loki. I love it on so many levels. Yes, Loki. Here we go. Just the idea that first off, Loki is king of Jotunheim. Jotunheim, because I had forgotten that in the previous episode. That is the land of the frost giants. It's not Niflheim. It's Jotunheim. And I like the frost giants are like annoyed they have civilization now. They have a legal system, but Loki is abandoning it to go shoot dice at Mr. Negative's underground casino, and not for nothing. Is that probably not. But I was just saying that looks a lot like Amadeus Cho behind him in that scene. But the first thing,
yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, but just some other welder station guy, and then of course you have the armadillo.
Yeah,
because we couldn't get the rhino.
Like a bouncer, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're a supervillain, you do want your supervillain bouncers because not for nothing. That's the business,
Especially if we have like Asgardian gods coming in to like gamble and stuff.
Yes, and of course Thor gets his little vision, and he knows, that was Loki, and he screwed it up. So he goes to, and then you see. We go to Nightmare. Nightmare says, Jotunheim is unguarded, so I'll go take it over again. And not for nothing, I don't know if going in as the Lord of Nightmares to try and take over a realm, I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense because it's a realm filled with freaking frost giants.
Yeah. So
even if Loki is away from his throne, you still got to deal with all the frost giants, and there are a lot of frost giants. So,
I just with Nightmare all the time, I always see it. It's like his mouth is bigger than his stomach. He's like, I need this, and he's kind of trying to bite off more than he can chew.
Yes, although I gotta say, my favorite character in this is, of course, Frosty.
Oh, the little frost giant.
Yeah, not Drop.
Oh yeah, the
Drop is also cool. Drop is don't be a free elf now.
Loki,
but
Loki basically brings a snowman.
Yeah, because he wants to make it with his brother there too. He makes a snowman with his brother. How perfect! But imbues them with the Norn stones. Also, like a statement, like, please, as far as magical stones go, these are like 6th on the list. Which is, weirdly enough, actually, you think about like, oh, okay, there's the Norn Stones, there's the Blood Stones, there's, there are a few randomized magic rocks out there, top of which, of course, is the Infinity Stones. They just made a movie about it.
Yes.
But I also just love the fact that Frosty is apparently, like, insanely powerful, because, of course, he is powered by the Norn Stones.
Yes.
And I like where, like, the first thing he says, I would die for my king, and then at the end he says, I would kill for my king.
Oh.
Yeah, so obviously Frosty is not necessarily up to good, and then you see Thor take Loki to the magic library, and he's like, how do you know about this place? He says, well, I'm a god, all gods know about this place. He's like, yes, but I've never seen you here. Loki's like, yes, obviously I know about this place. I come here all the time. I like to read books. You are Thor. You hit things.
I love that. He's basically like, brother, you know how to read?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Well, in the movies, he can speak Groot, so apparently he can read.
But yeah, I mean, I love in the beginning when, like, basically Loki finally has a throne like he's always wanted, and it's just like, oh, really? This is what this is? Too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and he does. Yeah. They're brothers. They have their dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. But then just like that whole casino scene, I was just like, I'm like, are they gonna like try to paint like Loki like the magical Tony Stark or something? I'm just like, yeah, I have responsibilities, but I want to go party or whatever. Which I'm very interested to see next issue when Loki actually does run into Tony Stark.
Yes, well, that is definitely something that is meant to get us intrigued.
Yes,
well, because why wouldn't he? He's a trickster god. He's the god of stories, and that's what he does. And I thought this is something I found very interesting, is when old Thor returns to the future.
Yes.
And you see Izzy and I don't know, these are outfits. It looks very Future Foundation-y.
Yeah, that's what hit me too.
And it makes me wonder, because of course we do see that the new History of the Marvel Universe story has the framing device of grown-up Franklin and Galactus at the end of time.
Yes.
I'm wondering if this, Old Father Thor is a different timeline Old Father Thor than the ones you've seen before. Because he does make the point. It's like, oh, you have both your eyes, so obviously you're not really me in the future.
Yes.
But it's like, it's an alternate future. It's an alternate reality. So, yeah, there's a lot going on here. I really enjoyed the first issue of Loki. I definitely look forward to reading more Lokis in the future.
Oh, yes. Same here.
I can't wait to see what's in the book of Loki, Yeah. Although it's weird because you already saw who was writing the book. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Which makes you wonder, like, was it him himself writing the book the whole time, or did he just meet Stan Lee?
Yeah.
Or big plot twist, it was actually Bendis.
Oh, don't you dare.
Did you get the chance to read Hotshots?
Oh, no, I didn't. Good?
Oh, okay. This was our ultimate episode. You can still take a drink. It's not the penultimate anymore, but this is the ultimate. And, it's just a very lovely story. Basically, if you... I'm sorry?
Was that issue 5 or 6? I forget how long it was going.
That was issue 5. This is the final issue, because Hickman's got to rub his Hickman over every mutant.
Yeah, they canceled, because I think this week, it was like the last X-Force 2, and, Gambit, Mr. and Mrs. got canceled. Yeah, because the whole Hickman thing.
Yes, but, and honestly, it's like, really, you couldn't have lived without Domino and whatever the cowboy girl is, but apparently he couldn't. But basically the idea is as you remember, the celestial booger, and again, it's one of these things, like, to me, it's like everyone's so wound up about this thing, except the Celestials.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Celestials really left a little, it's like, oh yeah, that omnipotence device, where did we leave that? Did that fall to Earth? Why does everything fall to Earth? and make no effort to retrieve it either. It's like, which really makes me think that it is a celestial booger. It's just something that, fell off somewhere and not much you can do with it after that. But we have the other scientist comes out of her cocoon and she's all celestialed out. And it's interesting because we have White Fox come back and she has the celestial booger. And she basically says that, yes, that the White Fox is in fact a kitsune. She is a demigod, and that's why she can hold this thing. But, she needs, Domino to assist with this so that they can defeat this person. You also have Natasha basically saying, the reason I chose you was because your powers, yes, you're good luck for you, but you're bad luck for everyone else. Although trying to shoot a celestial doesn't work. But it's very cool because she does get into the final big fight, and they are two humans with cosmic powers now. And they, of course, resort to punching, because that's what humans do.
Yes.
And then she's, fighting this thing, she gets that flash of the Dark Phoenix. Because that's the story every mutant knows, of the power that goes too far,
Mm-hmm.
And so she relinquishes her power, she saves the girl from her power, and then they, I don't know. I forget what they do with the MacGuffin off the top of my head, but it gets de-MacGuffinized. And they just say, yes, we're a great team. We're going to go free some orphan in Guatemala who's being experimented on because she's a mutant, and we'll take it from there. A nice cover for this too, by the way. I just want to throw that up there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you got the it is. It's got the sort of cosmic Messiah pose, but with the two pistols, but with the Celestials sort of like, oh, what's going on down there? The Celestials don't care.
Yeah.
And we got Superior Spider-Man. Did you guys talk about Superior Spider-Man already?
No, we didn't. I was going to say, I know you wanted to bring that up. Superior Spider-Man number 9, yes.
Yeah, this was a good story. Basically, and it's nice because it's Otto having to deal with, failure as a hero. And it's something you never think about. It's like villains deal with failure all the time. But as a hero, villains never think about the hero failing. Like, to the hero, to the villain, the fail of the hero is oh, you defeated the villain.
Mm-hmm.
And they never think about, well, actually, heroes can't do everything. And I'm a hero now, and suddenly I can't do everything. And they do make this point, you're used to just thinking about yourself. For you, failure was just, my plan didn't work. And now it's like you have to understand that, heroes are in a constant state of failure because you can't do it all. And, that's a beautiful take on it.
Otto's used to being on the other side. It's like, instead of setting this, evil plan in motion, instead you're trying to protect the whole planet against, whatever's coming at you.
Yeah, and he gets the key to San Francisco.
Oh, the San Francisco man, yeah.
Yeah. Because he saved every single person in San Francisco. Yep. Which is an insane superheroic thing to do.
Yeah.
But all he can see is how many people he didn't save.
On the rest of the planet, yeah.
And, it's kind of like, it's kind of like Oscar Schindler at the end of Schindler's List, where he's like, why didn't I save more?
Mm-hmm.
Every person I saved, yes, I saved all these people, but there were so many more I didn't save. And, coming to understand that you can't save everyone. You do have to understand there are limitations on everyone's powers, even the superior Dr. Octopus,
Oh, yeah.
Or as we go, San Francisco Spider-Man.
Yes.
He didn't like being called that, but, he doesn't get a vote. Yeah, and then we get who our new villain is, which is alternate dimension, Osborn, Spider-Man, and Spiders Man.
Yes, from Spiders.
I'm not sure how I feel about Spiders Man. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, just the guy made of spiders, yeah.
It's weird, man. Spiders aren't colonial animals, so it's like it's weird. But we also get Spider-Man doing, or Spider-Man, Osborn Spider-Man doing the Goblin laugh, which is weird. Why is he doing a Goblin laugh? He's a spider.
Yeah, but still Norman Osborn.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe the Goblin was always there.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this. Just like Anna Marie calling in Peter to give Otto a pep talk, and then Otto getting close to his, I guess it's the new girlfriend.
Yeah, well, Anna Marie had her shot.
I know.
That's the thing, man. Had her shot, and this other lady, she's gonna swoop right in because, like, you don't want this. You don't want this fine Tolliver booty. You know what? I might like it too. Yes.
And I like she's like actually giving him a chance, and
yeah. No.
Yeah,
it was,
sorry I freaked out on our first date, but you actually did save me and like everyone else from the first the demons and then the frost giants.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's a great superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Two other books I read.
Okay.
These are my indie books this week. I got the where is it? There it is. I got the Orville #1.
I didn't even know that was coming out. Is that good?
Yeah, well, I didn't know it either, but I was like, "Oh, what's this? The Orville?"
Huh.
And they say especially this takes place between. This is an adventure that takes place between season 1 and season 2. So, in this actually, they tell the story of how what's your name? The first officer. How Mockingbird met Cassius the teacher. Because apparently, yeah, Tova needs to go to school because he's old enough now, and but the teacher doesn't want because she's only 8 months, or he's only they. That's the thing. When you have a single gender society, what does it mean to be male? What does it mean to be defined as a male? Opposite of what? Because you're a single gendered society. But anyway,
they did show that there was the random female every so often, but two, I don't think they do that. Yeah. So the audience can like somewhat relate because you could just do like a genderless. We are neither male or female.
Well, exactly, yeah, and but so the teacher Cassius originally didn't want the kid in the class, but like Mockingbird forces it. Adrian Pilecki forces it, and once the kid's there, it's like, yeah, I want to apologize. I was wrong. The kid was fine. So I guess I needed a lecture in Mocklin biology because clearly no one knows anything about Mocklin biology on this ship, which is kind of ridiculous because they have a Mocklin on board. You think like. Even the doctor's like, well, I don't know, like, isn't your kid only 8 months old? And they bring in the kid like, looks 7. It's like, yeah, of course my kid looks 7. We are from Mockless. Yeah. It is a crazy world.
But I think they're kind of a secretive race, at least with their their customs and stuff.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
Anyway, the big MacGuffin of this is there is like an old battle cruiser that got lost 100 years ago. And of course, Seth MacFarlane and Gordon go. They're actually on their way to a conference, and then they got pulled into they got pulled into this adventure because there was a distress signal from this old ship, and they go in and they find it. And apparently, like this little group of penguin people have been living off of its replicators for like the last 100 years since it crashed there. But it keeps on randomly firing off particle beams. So, yeah. It's crazy. I enjoyed it. It definitely has the feel of a good issue, a good episode of the Orville. I'll definitely get issue 2. Oh, and apparently there's going to be a Black Hammer Justice League crossover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh, I might have heard about that. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. This is Dark Horse, so I think Black Hammer is Dark.
Yeah.
Horse too, and it's like their take on Evil Justice League. As you do. Oh, and of course, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark came out again.
Oh.
She's wandering through hell, as usual. And, yeah.
Charlie, you're kind of breaking up a little. Are you there? Charlie, yes, sir. Charlie? All right. Maybe having some technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you, yeah.
Now you can hear me? Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. maybe being a little lackadaisical with the phone. But yeah, so what do you think the punishment in hell for the wrathful is?
For what?
For the wrathful.
I don't know. Puppies and kittens.
I'll give you a hint. No, it's the same punishment that Robbie Reyes got in hell. You're stuck in traffic for all eternity.
Oh.
Yes, and I don't know, it's a really fun book. They play with a lot of ideas of like your punishment is sort of what you choose it to be, and people don't break away from the punishment because they actually prefer to be angry than to just leave the situation. It's very nicely done, and I really like how it all plays out. And there's just. Honestly, I really have to recommend, if anyone can, go get Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. It's a fun book. You probably need the backstory, so you probably should maybe get some of the old back issues for it, too. But at the end, she does get to meet Satan, so that's good. She, and that is the premise of that issue, is Elvira wants to speak to the manager, because she shouldn't have gone to hell with power.
What issue was that?
That was Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, issue 7. And, of course, Orville number 1.
Yes.
Okay, and that is like most of the books I've read, because we also talk about some on that other show we do.
Capes and Lunatics, yes.
Yes.
All right, so anything else?
I think I'm good, Philip. We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. Sure. Yes. Yeah, so get us out of here, Charlie Esser.
Okay, that's right. I got to do the outros, too. Man, I got to do everything on this show.
For sure.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for listening to Superconnectivity. If you'd like to talk to Phil about all the trouble that he has to put up with uniting people across 2 continents to do these shows, just because Lilith had to go do Comic-Con, and because we really like speaking with our good friend from Australia.
Yeah.
How can they find you, Philip?
Well, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And I just follow Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And also Superconnectivity has their own pages too, so go follow us and all that.
Yes, and of course for me, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our moms and pops once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog. That's all one word, kids, at gmail.com. And, of course, you can follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they also do the Nuff Said podcast over on the Southgate Media Network where Maz and I review the episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I was able to live tweet this week. And apparently there is a Nuff Said at Nuff Said podcast Twitter handle as well. I don't know if anyone's tweeting with it, but we have one. So we may have to figure out how to do some Nuff Said tweets.
Got it. Talk to Rob about that because, I'm not on there. So, yeah.
Yeah, but if you'd like to follow me, Charlie Esser, on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., do so by following at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE ESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing! For quality. There we go. And thank you for joining on us once again, heroes. Please super connect with us again next week. Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Yes.
With the stereo. For quality.
Bing, bing. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah, if we had time, I was going to have Tristan ask a question, because I thought we should have a segment on one of these shows, which is Questions for Phil.
Oh,
Tristan asked you a comic book history question. But I forgot what his comic book history question was. It was something about Iron Man.
He lives with Mr. Marvel and he has to ask me a question? Interesting.
Yeah.